The lights dimmed, and the massive stage fell into a hush so complete that even the cameras seemed to pause. Onto that stage stepped a barefoot boy, his clothes too big for him, his small hands trembling as he held the microphone. The judges leaned in, curiosity mixed with doubt. What was this frail child doing here, alone, facing thousands of eyes? His voice quivered as he whispered, "This is for my mother, she never heard me sing." The room gasped, some covering their mouths, already sensing the weight of his story. His mother, who once worked late into the night while his father sold fruit on the streets, had passed away before ever hearing her son's gift. But tonight, he was determined to keep her dream alive. The first guitar note struck. He closed his eyes, as though searching for her face in memory, and then his voice emerged, soaring, pure, and filled with every ounce of love and pain he had carried. Within seconds, the crowd's skepticism melted into tears. They were not just hearing a song, they were hearing a boy give his soul away. Each lyric was a prayer, each note a tribute. And yet, the most powerful moment of all had not yet arrived. As the song reached its center, the boy's voice trembled but never broke. Every sound carried the burden of nights spent hungry, of homework done under dim street lamps, of a childhood sacrificed for the faint hope of a better tomorrow. The audience felt his struggle with every syllable. A woman in the front row whispered, "That's my son's voice," as if he were singing not just for himself, but for everyone who had ever known loss. He saw, in his mind's eye, his mother's worn hands pressing coins into his palms, telling him to buy books instead of food. Tears welled in his eyes, yet he sang harder, pouring himself into each breath. The judges stared at one another. This wasn't performance, it was truth made sound. Then came a moment that froze the room. The boy raised his hand and pointed to an empty chair reserved in the audience, his mother's chair. A collective hush fell, so deep that even the creak of the stage floor seemed too loud. His voice cracked but kept rising, carrying her spirit higher, note after note. By the final verse, no one cared about perfection anymore. They cared about him. They cared about the story of love and sacrifice etched into every line he sang. The final note faded, and the hall was swallowed by silence. For a heartbeat, no one clapped, no one moved. Then, like a dam breaking, the audience surged to its feet, clapping, shouting, crying. The boy dropped the microphone, burying his face in his hands. One judge, known for her strictness, rose slowly, her cheeks wet. "You've just changed me," she whispered, her voice trembling. The boy looked up, unsure if he had failed or triumphed. He had never imagined his voice could heal others. A man in the crowd stood, holding a sign high above his head. "Sing for those we've lost." "Thank you." Security held him back, but the message was clear, this child had sung for everyone. Then, with a bang that made the boy jump, the golden buzzer exploded. Golden confetti rained down, glittering like sunlight breaking through clouds. The boy dropped to his knees, overwhelmed, sobbing into his hands as strangers shouted his name. The judges rushed to his side, lifting him into their arms. He had promised his mother he would make her proud, and at that moment, he did. Yet, amid the roar of celebration, something unexpected stirred. A stranger in the crowd stepped forward with a revelation that would leave every heart shattered and mended all at once. An older woman, her hands shaking, stepped into the aisle. Her accent matched his own, and her voice cracked as she cried, "I knew your mother." The room froze again. The boy's eyes widened. He whispered, "You knew her?" She nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. "We worked together. She used to tell me, her greatest dream was to see you standing right here, singing on this very stage. She said, even if she never lived to see it, she would always believe you could do it." A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. The boy pressed his trembling hands to his chest, tears streaming freely now. "She told you that?" His voice was barely audible, breaking under the weight of his emotions. The woman's voice quivered as she nodded again. "She wanted me to tell you, if this moment ever came, she is proud of you." so proud. Judges covered their faces with tissues, audience members sobbed openly, strangers hugged each other as though family. The boy bowed, not to the judges, but to the heavens, whispering, "Then I kept her promise too." The confetti sparkled around him like falling stars, and for one breathtaking moment, the stage became more than entertainment, it became a temple of love fulfilled. Backstage, cameras followed the boy as he clutched a faded photograph of his mother holding him as a baby. "This is all I have left," he whispered. The host, overwhelmed, wiped his own tears. Clips of the performance spread instantly across phones, reaching millions who felt the echo of their own grief in his song. But while the world celebrated, one figure stood apart, his father, silent, guilt-heavy in his eyes. He had once told his son to abandon music, to work instead, fearing the cruelty of broken dreams. Now, with shoulders trembling, he stepped forward. His voice cracked as he said, "I was wrong." The boy looked up, stunned. His father's words stumbled out, "I wanted to protect you from failure. But tonight, you showed me failure is never chasing your gift. Forgive me, son." The boy collapsed into his father's arms, both of them weeping, their embrace a new kind of stage. Crew members clapped, wiping their own eyes. "I'll sing for both of us," the boy whispered. His father pressed a kiss to his forehead and replied, "No, you already sing for all of us." For the first time, their hearts beat in harmony, their bond fully healed. Weeks later, the finals arrived. The boy stepped onto the stage barefoot, but taller now, his shoulders straighter, his eyes brighter. When he sang, it was no longer only sorrow but hope that carried through the notes. In the audience, thousands held up photos of loved ones, the glow of phone lights creating a sea of memory and love. By the end, the hall erupted in applause, louder than anything before. Yet the boy didn't glance at the trophy, nor at the judges. Instead, he looked at the audience and whispered, "This was my mother's dream, but now, it belongs to all of us." Judges pressed hands to their hearts, unable to speak through their tears. That night, he did not win the title. But something far greater happened, the world embraced him as family. His song replayed across classrooms, homes, and hospital wards, reminding millions of love, sacrifice, and second chances. A scholarship fund was created in his mother's name, giving children the education she once longed for him. Years later, at his graduation, the boy stood tall, microphone in hand, tears shining in his eyes. "I didn't just sing for my mother," he said, voice breaking. "I sang for every dreamer, every parent, every soul who believes kindness outlives us." The hall erupted again, proof that love never dies.